Coming to the net is a tactic that works for the best players in the world, but for the average competitive or club level player, it can be a nightmare. You see, during many singles matches, there is a pattern that happens with a lot of frequency that can destroy a player's game when they decide to come to the net. The pattern looks something like this. Step 1, players start the match. Step 2, one player starts winning most of the baseline rallies by being more consistent. Step 3, the player that's losing most of the rallies decided to change tactics by coming to the net. And step 4, the player gets passed or lobbed every time he or she tries to go to the net. Now, there is nothing wrong with coming to the net as long as you know when to do it. So, in today's video, we will take a look at how the pros use tactics to come to the net. The reason coming to the net doesn't work for many players is because they don't know when it's convenient to go to the net. In tennis, there are shots that allow you to come to the net and shots that don't. There are some coaches that have a saying I like a lot. If you want to go to the net, you need to earn that right first. You need to create a situation. You need to create a scenario that allows you to come to the net. When the best players in the world decide to come to the net, they do it because they have already done some work that increases the chances of winning the point with a volley. It might be a great serve, a great forehand, or something else, but they need to cause some damage on their opponents first. This is very important. When players abandon the baseline and start moving forwards, they are in a vulnerable state, a position called no man's land, because they aren't either at the baseline nor at the net. While they travel through no man's land, they are exposed to an attack from their opponents, and in order to decrease the chances of an attack, they need to put their opponents in some sort of trouble first. The way they cause trouble might vary based on their opponents. Some players struggle with heavy topspin, others after having to run a longer distance. You even have players that have a hard time lifting the ball and therefore are vulnerable when they are attacked with a slide shot. The trick is finding out which shots players struggle with and use them before moving forwards. That's the key of an effective approach. The pros never substitute not playing rallies by playing at the net. Yes, they change the ratio in which they use one or the other, but both situations are always present during a match. This is easier to remember if we think about the 5 game situations in tennis: serving, receiving, rallying, volleying, and passing. All these situations are connected one with each other. For example, you cannot rally if you or your opponent haven't served yet. Now, depending on the point you are playing, you will have to travel through different situations. The more situations you dominate, the more chances you will have to win that point. You can think of this like taking the stairs. Each step represents a game situation. By completing a step correctly, you can move to the next step, and then the next step, until you win the point. In tennis, there are different types of stairs. You have 3-step stairs, where you serve, you rally, and finally you finish the point at the net. If this is the type of stair you are taking, your opponent will have a different one. In this case, the stairs of your opponent will look something like this: return, rally, and passing shot. Sometimes, players can win points without having to take all steps. For example, if you serve, your opponent returns the serve, and you miss the next shot, your opponent wins that point by just completing the first step. Sometimes you can also skip steps in the process. If, for example, you try to serve and volley, you can win that point without having to engage into a rally. What's important you take from this is that it's common to win points without completing all steps, like missing a return of serve. What's not common and requires a higher level of play is skipping steps. In general, players need to focus on having a certain order. It's great if you win points without having to take all steps, but you need to at least be willing to take them in the right order. Unfortunately, when a player is dominating rallies, not playing rallies isn't the solution. If you do so, you will force other game situations like your serve or your volleys, and that will most likely lead to more errors. Yes, coming to the net can work, but only after you do your work and find a way to make things a little bit more difficult for your opponent. Remember that tennis is a game that has a lot of variables. You have different spins, different heights, different placements. Don't let fear cloud your judgment. Find a way to give your opponent a hard time and then come to the net. Now, if you are like many players that like to play attacking tennis and finish the point at the net, I strongly suggest you check a video I created about how to use tactics to play attacking tennis. I will leave a link on the video description below. Finally, I would like to know your opinion about this video. Did you like this analysis? Did you agree or do you disagree? Please let me know in the comment section. Also, I wanted to tell you that I created a Facebook group for those of you that want to talk about strategies, share your experiences during your matches, or ask for advice. If you want to join the group, I will leave a link on the video description below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon. My name is Jorge, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.